Hi guys, Ollie here with Bezla.com LLC, and today I'll be giving you my top 10 tips to improve your hotel's revenue. The concept of hotel revenue management is so broad, so this is in no way a complete list, but rather more of a starting point to get you thinking about what you can do to improve your hotel's performance. To start with, you should look at the culture within your hotel's teams and gear this towards revenue management as much as possible by making staff aware of their shared goals. By having a clear understanding of what your hotel stands for, as well as the strategies you employ to reach your targets, it will be easier to motivate your staff and drive performance. On the topic of staffing, my next tip is to find the right balance between human resources and technological resources. A classic mistake made by hotels is to rely too heavily on one and neglect the other. You should ensure to stay up to date with the latest technology to help automate your processes where possible, but don't aggressively replace your workforce with technology, as guests expect an element of human interaction. Tip number 3 is all about added value. Remember that guests are almost always price sensitive to some degree. Every value added extra your hotel can provide will make a big difference with potential guests who will look at your hotel. You can deliver value through excellent customer service, food and beverage packages, free parking, and many other things. The key thing here is to practice what you preach. If your website promises to deliver outstanding customer service, make sure you do just that. This leads nicely on to my 4th tip, which is to keep your website up to date. This sounds obvious, but I'm not just talking about the basics like advertising your latest prices. It's so frustrating when a hotel's website is made up of photos from 10 years ago, which no longer reflect the way that your hotel is presented. Your website is your chance to set your guests' expectations, so make sure you're using up-to-date media as well as written content to do this well. Check out my recent video for more hotel website tips at www.bezla.com/blog. Tip number 5 is about when guests don't go through your website because they use other distribution channels, and this is particularly the case for smaller independent hotels. To boost your revenue management strategy, you need to find the right distribution channel for your hotel. To do so, you can have a look at the channel's cost, the marketing opportunities they will provide you, and the technology that they use. Always look at how these channels would fit within your current hotel management systems too. Don't get too tied up into a long-term contract with a distribution channel, which may seem appealing at first, but might hold you back over time. This leads on to my 6th tip, the opposite of third-party distribution channels, and that is to handle direct bookings. No matter how much you rely on external marketing, you should always try and increase the number of direct bookings. Why? Because it's considerably cheaper and you can gain a strong customer loyalty. By diverting guests away from comparison websites, you're effectively eliminating the competition that they see. Hotels do this effectively, usually by offering discounts on food, drinks, reservations, or future stays to guests who book with them directly. Think back to my 3rd tip around added value to see what incentives your hotel could offer. Regardless of what marketing channels you use, tip number 7 is about forecasting demand. By predicting your hotel's costs, needs, and revenues, you will be able to map your hotel's demand over time. This will be very useful for your future marketing decisions. My 8th tip is to keep a good record of your sales data. If you follow our blog at Bezla.com, you know that I always talk about how important this is. Driving the performance of your hotel must always start with data. Even if you follow all the other tips in this video, you'll never be performing at your best if you're not recording and monitoring your sales data. If you're not sure where to start, it's always best to focus on quality instead of quantity, and always consider how it will be recorded and used. This means the storage and interpretation of data will be more manageable. We're almost there now. My penultimate tip is to consider the consumer behaviour of your guests. Every major business decision you take for your hotel must go hand in hand with your guests' current trends. To do this, you should constantly review the booking process and your guests' demographic trend movements. Also stay in touch with your guests by reading their reviews on your hotel and responding to them. This will help you to collect more information on how to make your hotel more successful. For example, guests might now prefer healthy food and eco-friendly practices, which you can add to your hotel to make it more appealing. And last but certainly not least, my final tip is to always consider your return on investment. This is where you need to think strategically about what you set out to achieve when you first invested in your hotel. Again, it sounds obvious, but is a common mistake for hotel owners to lose touch with their initial goals by getting caught up in the day-to-day running of the hotel. So take a step back, look at your key performance indicators, and ensure your hotel is going in the right direction. So there we have it, 10 tips for successful hotel management. Like I said, this is definitely not a complete list, but rather acts as a starting checklist for improving your hotel's revenue. If we can be of any assistance with your hotel marketing, please do reach out to us on our website at www.bezla.com, or you can give us a call on 888 999 8086. Thank you so much for watching.